Well, if we don't have one play, we have another, right? And how exciting is this? Because I certainly love theater, and this play is Night of the Iguana, and we have Mr. Sanderson here.
I'm playing one of the characters in the
Nona?
production.
Nana.
Nano. Okay, Nana.
Which is
You're 95 years old?
actually
97 years young is
okay.
right, going on 98 actually, and I'm traveling the world with my granddaughter.
You're a poet.
And I'm as she describes me, I'm the world's oldest living and practicing poet, and she and I travel the world. She's a watercolorist, and we go around to the tables at places like Raffles in Singapore and some of these wonderful
cool,
hotels
isn't
in
it?
the 1930s. The play is actually set in 1940, and I'll let Juliet, the director,
Yeah,
kind of
Julie,
go
I know you're the
to-
director, and this is a wonderful play. First of all, it was made into a movie.
It was.
I think Richard Burton was in it.
He
was in it.
And Ava Gardner and
Yep.
Deborah Kerr, I believe.
Yeah, it was a good cast, and what I kind of give our audience an idea of what it's about, because it has to do with a minister who kind of gets kicked out. And
He does, and he's a minister turned tour guide, and that's how he ends up at the Costa Verde Resort, which is on the northern coast of Mexico. He's been there before, and it's run by Maxine, who's newly widowed and earthy, I think is how she's described.
that must have been Ava Gardner's part.
And
Well, it
she-
was originated by Betty Davis on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Oh,
Which you can
really?
only
Yes.
imagine how earthy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
character ended
yeah.
up under Betty Davis.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, yeah.
Yeah, and Maxine desperately wants Shannon to stay. And Shannon is sort of at a crossroads in his life. He wants to go back to the church, or want to go back to the church. He also has physical desires, and
Yeah.
Maxine is right there for him. And then
I love the way you put it.
it's a morning show, so I'm trying to be
The recently widowed Maxine.
recently widowed. And then Nano and his granddaughter Hannah show up at the hotel, and Hannah tries to help Shannon navigate this crossroads and try to figure out where he wants to be and what he wants to be.
Yeah.
So it's a very cerebral play. It's very deep. There's a lot of layers to it, but it is really a truly
I
great
bet you're
play.
having fun directing this.
I'm having a blast, particularly with this cast.
How big is your cast?
We have 10 actors,
Wow.
which is quite large. Not musical large, but yes, for a straight play, it's a pretty big cast.
Yeah, that
But
is a
they
good-sized cast.
They are all so invested and fully involved in making this play get to where it needs to go.
So the set now, is this going to be the set of the bar? Or what is it? Or the hotel? Or
It's we have a set of cabanas, actually.
okay.
Our set designer, Rich Montino, who I've worked with many times before, is an absolute genius, and he has created a resort. Now, you've been to Albany Civic. Our stage is not large.
No, it's
but
not.
he has actually put 3 cabanas and a veranda on that itty-bitty stage. So
okay,
magnificent
so if you're
feat that
in
he
the
has
first
done.
row, just ask for a drink. when
Yes,
you're-
and the drink cart's right there, and Maxine is serving, so yes.
Well, you get the
absolutely.
humidity and the oppressiveness of the heat. And there's a scrim that is beautifully painted, and where one of the entrances is, and you feel this, and there's like this electrical storm is building all through the first act, and it's very, very exciting.
It looks
stuff.
like a resort in the
Yeah.
rainforest,
Yeah.
in,
That
the,
is-
in the
sounds
Mexican
cool,
jungle.
yeah.
It really is amazing.
Yeah, and so it's a 3-act play?
Or
Or 2-act?
2-act.
2-act.
Yeah.
2-act. And you have a nice cast, and you've got
Wonderfully talented cast.
Is there any music in it? No.
There'll be the pre-show and post-show,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I have our sound designer Frank Novko, who I've worked with before also, and in the interest of full disclosure, he is my boyfriend as well. But anyway, he's tried to pick.
That's good.
It's helpful, it's convenient. He's tried to pick music that's period, obviously, but that sort of sets the mood of the play, which is tense and static. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very the moment of.
It's a sharp play.
It is.
It's very
It
sharp.
is. Very much so.
William, do you? How did you prepare for your part?
Well,
Because you're certainly not 97, 98, going on 98.
that was a major concern for me in terms of developing Nano's physicality at the age of 97, and also makeup-wise helps a little bit. And Jen Dugan from the costumer, who's also an expert in makeup design and special effects, has helped age me quite a bit, and under the stage lights, it really makes a big difference.
She's done an amazing job.
But I think one of the keys is I've worked with my acting coach, Laura Lee Ecabelli, in terms of the physicality of that character.
Is he
at that
unsteady?
age.
Just
He's-
how,
well,
you know, you kind of have to.
Well, you pick it out of the script. You know, the author will tell you a certain.
So you have some
clues.
direction.
Right. So, for example, my granddaughter is explaining how I've had a series of small strokes.
So that's a
just
pretty good
before
clue.
I arrive at the resort or the place. So I've worked on my losing the use of my left arm, and so that affects my acting too, and helps me develop the character and make it more believable.
Well, and I know that I heard that sometimes when they do that, they actually tie part of their arm. They do something to kind of remind them that they've got to not move it so much. And, yeah.
Right, some people do it, but
Yeah.
you know, that there's a challenge. And then during the course of the second act, I'm trying to create a poem, and I'm heard backstage. I'm not physically on stage, but I interject at certain key points in terms of the dialogue, which hopefully will enhance what's going on stage. You know, Tennessee Williams wrote it that way, and so he has that kind of a role in the thing. And I'm trying to create this poem, and just by the location where I am and the people I meet, contribute to his developing that final poem. So that's
It's
very
really a great. It's great to bring these plays, which are really heady, like you mentioned, they're heady, to our viewers, and we are so fortunate in our area to have such great theater groups. And I mention this every time because we are so lucky to have them. And now later on in the show, we're going to be talking about the filmmakers who are an integral part of our community, because they need actors and they need lighting people, and what do you need in the theater? Same thing, but of course it's a little bit different in film, and we will be talking about different skill set.
Yes, indeed.
But the idea, if you're interested in that, you certainly can transition. But I want to.
Well, I've been lucky. I've actually worked with Ron. Ron will be your guest a little bit later today.
Good,
so
good.
I know he's
So
a
you
wonderful.
hang around and applaud to him.
Oh, well, I will. Yeah, wonderful talent.
But I want to thank you both for being here, and I would like to encourage you to look at some of these classic plays. They don't. Sometimes they bring on new plays, but this is a classic, and you probably
And
want
not
to
the
see
most
it.
well done, Tennessee Williams. I just want to point
Yeah,
that out. You're not going to
Tennessee-
see that.
No,
this
no,
particular.
you're
You'll see
gonna
Glass
see
Menagerie or
Streetcar,
Streetcar
Named
over
Desire,
and over
yeah,
again.
over and over again.
People don't do Night of the
Yeah.
Iguana, and it's worth doing.
It's worth seeing.
And worth
Exactly.
Well, I've been twice blessed because I did do a Streetcar Named Desire at Albany Civic Theater.
We did do that
in
a few years ago.
2005,
Yep.
Okay.
and
Well,
so.
they'll probably do it again sometime.
No doubt.
As we get older, we play different parts.
Well,
so.
it's
That's
interesting
it.
the themes that he brings through, because Tennessee Williams is so autobiographical
Yeah.
in his work, and
He
I
really
think
And this
people
one's no
will enjoy it.
exception.
No exception there.
Yes.
So check it out. It's over at the Albany Civic Theater. They're located on 2nd Avenue, I think,
Yes.
in Albany. And you can certainly check it out. It's be playing from May 1st through the 17th. You'll have an opportunity, 3 weekends. Check it out.
All right.